And the federal government invests in the historic Rideau Canal.
Over the past little while, we've had great fun bringing you passion profiles. What is it that the personalities you've come to watch do in their own time? Well, in today's program, it's not just dynamic, it's aerodynamic. Reporter Jonathan Rotondo is also an aerobatics instructor, and we're heading up.
Right after the break, we continue our summer passion profiles. Leanne Cusack takes to the sky with CTV Ottawa reporter Jonathan Rotondo. His passion, aerobatics.
Well, you recognize him. This is Jonathan Rotondo. He is a general assignment reporter at CTV Ottawa. And while you're used to seeing him on the air, today you're going to see him in the air in a different capacity. As aerobatics instructor. Yes, that's John's passion, and today we are profiling that here at the Ottawa Airport in, everyone will want to know, the Grub.
It's a Grobe, yeah. It's a German-built two-place trainer. Actually, the Royal Air Force, the British Royal Air Force, uses this this model to train their new pilots. And our forces use a slightly larger, more beefed-up model, but it's basically it's the same company and the same family. So there's a little bit of connection there across the pond and here at home.
Jonathan, this is really fun for me to be able to share this talent and this passion of yours with viewers, because I didn't know. I mean, I've known you for a long time, but I knew you flew. Yep. I didn't know you were an aerobatics instructor.
Honestly, I think it's the best flying you can do. And people are going to disagree with me. Other pilots will say float flying's better, IFR flying is better. But you know what? This, maybe outside of gliding, this is probably the purest form of flying. And the ability to be up there in this immense medium, you know what I mean, 6,000 feet above the ground, and really flying with the birds and looping and rolling and feeling the airspeed and the G and the horizon turning and revolving, and it's really like, well, you're going to experience it in a bit, but
how poetic does that sound? Very poetic.
And I don't want it to seem romantic, because there is, I mean, it's an airplane, right? And flying's flying, and it's technical, and you've got to be on the ball and ahead of the airplane, and operating within its abilities and your abilities as a partnership. But there is a romantic part to it, and that's, you know, the goggles and the scarves and the thin mustaches and flying the airmail in the 20s. But if you did your license in the 20s and the 30s, that's what you did. You did loops and rolls and spins, and they taught the handling of the airplane as opposed to monitoring systems. And this, I think, is, I love small airplanes. I like that you're in control all the time, and aerobatics is the ultimate. It really is.
John just said he loves small airplanes, and we have to tell you where the love was born. Actually, he has the t-shirt to prove it. It was love at first flight, and really you owe it to your dad. Tell us about your dad's passion and how that was infused.
Yeah, it's both my parents, actually, and it's weird. I can't pick a precise moment when it started. I can't. It's like my old man started flying in the 70s in Africa, and then he was working out there, and he came up here and continued and converted his license. And Dad's got he stopped flying when my sister was born in '86, so he hasn't flown in a while. But you know, we go up flying every so often, and he hasn't lost it at all. And going back, I mean, what little boy doesn't want to be like his dad, right? And yeah, he owned a couple of airplanes. We never flew together until I had my license, which was weird. But I remember going to the airport. He had a couple of airplanes out at Rockcliffe, and my mom would cut the grass, and I'd sit in the airplane, and you know, my dad would play and stuff. When he sold the airplane, I remember this memory of him bringing toys that I had left in the machine, which is bad. Yeah, certainly my dad especially, but my mom had a student pilot permit as well, and they fostered that. They really did. They encouraged me. I was always pointing at airplanes, and it comes from my parents, and they were great. My old man's still a lot of fun to fly with, and that's all he talks about is flying, so it's great. Yeah.
Well, we've done a lot of talking about flying, and I'm really, really looking forward to heading up with you. The next time you see us, we will be in the air. We have some interesting cameras to take you on this flight, because it's going to be
It'll be a good time.
Up, down, all around.
For sure.
We're going to roll, shake, rattle, and roll with Jonathan Rotondo. We'll be back.
Well, I believe Leanne is now airborne with CTV Ottawa reporter Jonathan Rotondo. Let's check in with them.
Cloud dancing today. We're just coming through 7,000 feet and we're about to see Jonathan Rotondo, our reporter, in a completely different light because this is his other job. He's an aerobatics instructor. So today's program, we promise you twists and turns and rolls
and rolls and hammerheads and
another day in the life.
Be a good one.
If people only knew when they watched you covering things like City Hall or a court case that this is what you did for fun in your other.
You know what? I have fun doing both jobs, but this is certainly a more fun office. So we're all set to go. We're all Hazel checked up and everything's fine. So I'm going to give you a quick look out here. What we do is it's called a lazy 8 or a wing over. The first thing I'm going to do is just pitch the nose up really, really gently. You're going to feel that G in your chest there. We're rolling left. And what I'm looking for is just to see if there's any traffic, other airplanes, you know, below us, behind us. I'm getting a really good lookout the whole way through here. As we reacquire our line, I'm going to do another one to the right so we can get a look out the other side.
Whoa, okay.
And here we go.
We have to describe what's happening in our body. We're experiencing G-force.
Yeah, and you're about to feel a whole hell of a lot more.
Well, thanks for the warning.
So here comes the loop. You're going to feel it pretty soon. It's 132, here we go. So here's the G, you'll feel it in your chest.
Really?
There it is. And breathe, keep breathing. A little bit of power over the top here, just as we crest inverted. I'm going to ease off a little bit. Now we're upside down. There you go, Leanne.
Well, I think that was better than a chiropractic adjustment. That was zero gravity.
Yeah, straight back down. That was our slipstream. I'm going to give you a quick roll here before we bust our altitude.
Oh,
there we go, and roll it. Rolling left now, all the way across, upside down, and finishing that roll, reacquiring our line. There we go.
Well, this is what we both pretty well describe as a perfect day at the office, but this is the office when John's not at the office. And we just talk us through the sequence we just did once again.
We did a lazy 8 into a loop and then a left aileron roll.
And I'm still able to talk, and I think that's the test, yeah. By the end of the flight, who knows?
We'll see.
What we should really do is talk a little bit about what it is you like to bring to your students.
Yep. You know, and as we start up, I'm going to do another sequence here that I actually do as a sort of a flight test for my students when I graduate them. But instruction's a huge responsibility, and my check pilot, Andrew Campbell, told me, you know, it's unbelievable how much, and here we go on the loop, how much confidence a student puts in their instructor. Just over the top of the loop here. And it's true. I mean, I remember my first student, I didn't really know a whole heck of a lot, and I know more now. But, you know, they put an immense amount of responsibility, and I've had some great instructors over the years. My first instructor, here's the hammerhead. Best place in the world for me right here. Just hanging on the prop. Here comes the pivot. And we're going to cut right through the horizon and straight back down again, reacquiring our line. I had a great instructor, Nigel Barber, and he flies for Jazz now, but just a terrific pilot. Taught us all, you know, the safety and the responsibility and the work that comes with doing something like this. And you try to impart that onto your students as much as you can. And my students are all motivated. They really want to be out doing this. They love what they're doing, and it's easy to teach them when they feel that way. There's that second hammerhead, straight up now on the vertical line, hanging on the prop, and here comes the pivot. And as we cut through the horizon here, a little bit of aileron just to hold the wing down, and recover on our vertical down line. There you go. And I might be able to give you one more here. I'll sneak one more hammerhead in because I got the room and I love them so much. Oh, honest to God, this is the coolest place you can be right here. Horn 1002 and pivot. How's the body doing, Leanne? You okay?
This is so interesting to describe the sensations for viewers, and I'm not sure exactly where I should be looking. Do I follow the movement, or do I keep eyes?
I just look at the wingtip.
Okay.
It's the easiest way. So there you go. And
okay.
we need to climb back up again. How you doing?
Beyond. That is so exhilarating, and to describe it, you feel like there's an elephant on your chest.
Yeah, you're weighing, like I weigh 200 pounds, so we were pulling 4G, pretty gentle. I feel like I weigh 800. 4 times the force of gravity. Here we go. You'll feel the G right now. There's the G-force. We're going to go to 45 and check. Roll now a little bit of negative. As we push, you're going to float up. See that? Now we're completely inverted. Everything's floating, got dirt and stuff. And we reacquire our line. How you doing, Leanne? So here comes a full Cuban 8. This is what they do at the end of the Red Bull sequences. If anybody at home watches those, this is what they call the vertical maneuver. We go to full power over the top. And stop ourselves, 45 degree down, and roll out of it as best as the globe can. Power comes back. There's our slipstream again, and just for good measure, because I feel like it, we're doing another hammerhead.
I'm surprising everyone they expect.
right over the top.
Oh, this is a beautiful thing.
Straight back down, 6,000 feet. I got a bit more. Let's do a barrel roll just for the sake of doing one.
You've taken other colleagues up before, and normally
Yeah.
you try to make them really nauseous, really early
Not on purpose.
don't
They
you?
used to, the barrel roll, they used to do this in World War II to reacquire your target if you lost them and overshot. So we're basically just following the inside of a barrel and using what's called a J-hook on the controls there. There you go. There's a barrel roll. And I understand you're a bit of a flyer, flying with Wayne, Snowbirds, Thunderbirds, so this isn't a Tudor, it's certainly not an F-16, but it can basically do what we need it to do. So, you're going to do a loop, so take over, you have control. We're going to pitch down to, that's about good, we're going to get 132 on the entry airspeed there. So once we hit 132, I'll call the pull. There's 132, start pulling, pulling in, pull, 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 keep pulling.
Okay.
There you go, now we'll throw our heads back to find the horizon.
Horizon.
There it is. Ease off slightly. That's it. And now reacquire the line. There's your road. And start pulling. Pull, 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 pull. There, that was our slipstream actually. That was a pretty good loop. That was a decent cut through the horizon. That was nice.
That was beyond a decent
A1.
loop. That was my first loop ever.
That was, well, for a first loop, not bad.
I do know what.
You saw it here first, guys. First loop ever.
Oh, Jonathan, I want to thank you so much as we head back to the airport. Peak experience.
I had a great time too.
Experience.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was awesome.
We'll talk to you when we get back to the ground.
Very impressive, Mr. Rotondo. Very impressive, Leanne, too, doing that loop. Way to go, guys. That was really interesting.
Okay, on the wing, almost on the ground, but really still airborne after that great flight with Jonathan Rotondo. Okay, John, chance for a bit of the debrief.
Yeah.
The Rotondo roll.
Rotondo roll.
That's what I'm calling it. We did a lot of Rotondo rolls.
Yeah, we did a couple of aileron rolls, a whole ton of loops, a whole ton of hammerheads. That's my favorite one. The half reverse Cubanate, the half Cubanate like they do at the end of Red Bull, barrel roll. You did a loop or two there, so it's actually really nice. To be honest, it was good. Yeah.
It's almost indescribable when you're up there, and this plane is so maneuverable.
You know what? For a small airplane, it does the trick. It's very light because of the composite airframe. It's got fairly decent control surfaces, and it pitches better than it rolls.
Well, you can just so tell you're an instructor. The way Don talked all of us through all of the moves, I mean, we really wanted this to be a flight for you as well, and it was a privilege for me. I hope a privilege for you, but what's really interesting, and I didn't know this, is that you don't have to be a private pilot. You actually take people up, or here at Ottawa Aviation Services.
A ton of people that come by and just want to experience it, and a lot of corporate stuff, and people just say, you know what, it's a blast, go up and have a good time. And I do most of the flying, but I let them try out a couple of things. So it's fun for me because I get to fly, and it's great for them because they get the experience. So
for those in our viewing region who may say, hey, look at that aerobatic action, when might they know it's you? Where are your favorite areas to practice?
We're mostly over Constance Lake, but there's a spot out over Smiths Falls we can use. But Constance Lake is nice. It's got great lines. We do it very visual with lines on the ground, and that's where I learned, and that's where I take my students. And it's probably the best place to go is out over Constance Lake in the practice area.
We're having so much fun with these passion profiles in that it really does offer all of you a little bit of insight to the life behind that screen. I mean, you get to meet the on-air people sort of very one-dimensionally, and there are just so many more dimensions to you, my friend.
I guess so, eh? Yeah, I had a great time. Thanks for going flying with me. I had a blast, and I hope you had a good time, and that everybody at home had fun watching us. And yeah, I had a blast. It was great.
Okay, thanks a ton.
Okay, no problem.
It's